Hello everyone, welcome back for another Star Trek The Official Starships Collection review. I finally have in my hands now issue number 104, the USS Jenolan, as seen on Star Trek The Next Generation in the episode called Relics. And of course, you have a magazine and a ship here, so I'll put it aside for just a minute and let's look at the gold that is within this magazine. So right off the bat, you'll notice there's a rather lovely image of the Jenolan on the cover there. Very, very nice indeed. Of course, it's CGI. With some basic information down here. It is considered Sydney class, launched in the 23rd century, the late 23rd century, I would guess. 235 meters long, and this thing can go as fast as warp 6. So you turn the page, and the usual magazine format continues, and more specification information. Of course, it's affiliated with the Federation. As I mentioned, the length is 235 meters long in the 23rd century. The crew can be approximately up to 30, with at least maybe possibly 200 passengers. Fast as warp 6, and has phaser emitters for weaponry. Turn the page there, have another interesting image of the Jenolan there, as well as a screenshot, screen cap from the episode Relics of it being crashed on the Dyson sphere. And there's more on that. And the centerfold page showing you where the components are. And here's a section on the designing of the Jenolan, which the Star Trek fan will notice as being the shuttlecraft SD-103 that was approaching space dock in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. I guess they took the shuttlecraft and converted it into, added engines to it, and made it into the Jenolan. So yeah, and of course that model has also been seen on Deep Space Nine. They basically just flipped it upside down and made it a Starfleet transport ship that you saw in random DS9 episodes. And here's a section on our beloved James Doohan, aka Scotty, and more about his life and career, of course, and his role in Star Trek, of course, and more on that. And finally, the on-screen appearance page. It's appeared in Relics, which is the only episode it's ever appeared in on The Next Generation, and it was never referenced again. However, we did see various guises of the ship in other episodes. So yeah, that is the Jenolan, the magazine for it anyway, and there is the ship, an image of the ship on the back there. So there it is, and let's get to this bad boy of a model itself. Looks pretty large inside the box here, so let me get it out to share with you what is inside here. Alright. And my initial impression of it is it's fairly nice. It doesn't have a whole lot of weight to it. The primary metal components are, of course, up top, the dorsal and ventral sections here. There's a lot of paneling, detailing down on the bottom. Unfortunately, it's very plain, no coloring or, fading or weathering or anything like that. But as you can see, there's a lot of detail there. But considering we didn't see the underside of the ship in the actual episode, at least not very much, I guess it can be argued that this was screen accurate. If you were to take off the warp nacelles, you can clearly see that this is the SD-103 shuttle that you saw on Star Trek VI. They added the warp nacelles that were from the Constitution, Miranda class, Constellation class starships. Same type of warp nacelles there. And interesting to note about that, The grills here are painted, which is a bit of a disappointment. I'm surprised they didn't go with the all black interior there. But I guess in the episode we never saw it light up, so technically that's accurate. My biggest issue really is something that I've said before on all of the other Starfleet ships from this era that feature the same type of warp nacelles, with the exception of the Saratoga and the Reliant, is the front of the nacelles are painted or has a plastic. Actually, I think it's painted too. Yeah, if they had just added one white strip of line, one white line that went down the middle, then it would be accurate. But I guess they didn't for whatever reason, and that's a bit of a bummer. But other than that, it looks cool. It's nice to have this ship in the collection. You got your Starfleet registry there, NCC-2010, USS Jenolan. You got the Federation symbol there. Of course, the registry is also on the outside and the interior of the nacelles themselves. The name Jenolan is also on the back. Overall, it's a very nice ship in the collection. I did want one ever since I saw the episode as a kid. So I was kind of looking forward to this model. But again, me being very picky and knowing how the nacelles were in the front, I was slightly a little disappointed with that. But that's no big deal. It is a really nice model. Other than that, you have to be very careful and gentle, as with most of the models in this collection, because the nacelles could probably easily fall off or pop off if this thing falls or drops or whatever the case may be. So yeah, that is the USS Jenolan. And I forgot to mention that it can be flipped upside down, just like you see on Deep Space Nine. So really, you see the ship approaching from this view, and essentially, it's another transport ship. It's actually doesn't look too bad going that way, but I guess it would look more like a shuttlecraft this way as opposed to this way. So that's kind of interesting. And so yeah, that, my friends, is the USS Jenolan seen on Star Trek The Next Generation. If you are picking up all of the Federation and Starfleet ships, then by all means pick this up. If you, if you are not a fan of the ship, then don't bother. I would say it's worth your time, and it will look nice next to all of the other ships in the collection there thus far. And yeah, my nacelles are actually aligned. That's a good thing. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Of course, it goes into the stand like this. If I can get the stand in there. And it docks in place like that. And there you have it, USS Jenolan, Scotty's ship that he suspended himself in a transporter buffer for 75 years. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, live long and prosper. And if you happen to be in Florida or Texas or in the Caribbean islands or Cuba or anywhere down there in the British Virgin Islands or anything like that, please be safe and careful with those hurricanes and the extreme weather going on. And so yeah, live long and prosper.